Brown.
Aye.
Rusado.
Aye.
Starr.
Aye.
Wool.
Aye.
Fisher.
Aye.
O'Brien.
Aye.
Callahan.
Aye.
Holman.
Aye.
Mueller.
Aye.
Boderman.
Aye.
Saron.
Aye.
McFadden.
Aye.
Ordinance 16-14 is approved, 12 yes, no nos, 2 absent. Okay, moving to item 13, the administrator's report. Mr. McGrath is feeling a little bit under the weather this evening, so Alderman McFadden is going to offer what comments, so I am told. Is that correct?
Kind of, yeah. Bill wrote up a detailed report. I could read it, or you could all read it for yourselves. The Cliff Notes version. Restaurant Madness is coming up throughout the city. There's an RFQ going out to various engineering firms for a study on some erosion work along the riverbank. Discussions have started with the Park District, also regarding river issues, with regards to the dam, as well as some erosion issues. Landscape waste will be picked up on your regular solid waste pickup date beginning in April. And it must be in a heavy-duty paper bag, a clearly marked container not weighing more than 50 pounds, and have a waste sticker attached to each bags. The waste stickers are all the same. You can also bundle sticks if they're tied with a rope or twine, not wire, no more than 50 pounds, and not more than 4 feet in length and 2 feet in diameter. More details are on the city website if needed. Tomorrow evening's Committee of the Whole meeting includes a discussion on allowing the sale of alcohol beverage at convenience stores that also sell fuel. It's a discussion only, not a final action. There'll also be a vendor in to provide us some additional information on that. On the front page of the city website, there is information about the 6th annual rain barrel sale, as well as the Conservation Foundation presentation on the use of rain barrels and rain gardens at City Hall, and that will be April 13th at 7 p.m. There's also a link on the website to information about the city's Parkway Tree Program, through which residents can share the cost of a new tree planted in their parkway either this spring or the fall. The deadline to apply for that is April 1st, so if there's interest, please take a look at the website. And lastly, total reconstruction of the Deer Path Road Bridge will begin this summer. There'll be a pre-construction meeting tomorrow in Schaumburg, attended by city staff. And as soon as we obtain a workable schedule, we'll be giving everyone notice, especially the residents and homeowners associations in the vicinity. We have already been making plans for detours and have a good plan in place. And that concludes the administrator's report.
Any comments on that? I would just offer up, tomorrow night we're going to discuss this, allowing the sale of alcohol at convenience stores and gas stations. I know there's at least one firm that is wanting to come in tomorrow night and be here and tell you why they'd like to do this. I would also offer, I guess I used to be more opposed to this than I am now, but I would tell you that there's more than one out there that want this service. I mean, I think we better, if we do this, we better be prepared that we will probably have 5 or 6 applications to do this. And this won't be just one guy wanting this, because there's a list of them that have asked about this, and we've always said to this point in time we've never allowed it under the ordinance, but there will be a number that will be showing up that and some of them have talked to me within the last 6 weeks that they keep, the rumor flows that that's out there and we'd like to get our name on the list. And so if we amend the ordinance, it certainly would be a revenue source to the city. And I guess the local experience with some of the neighboring communities has been that it has not been a real problematic situation. It's no different than any grocery store or Walgreens selling it and whatever. So I guess I'm not as reticent about this as I once was, but we will increase the number of licenses, which will be more revenue to the city. And the one thing I am very proud of is the fact that the Batavia Police Department, the Detective Division, takes a very active compliance check situation where they hit everybody, within a brief period of time to make sure everybody's checking IDs and doing everything the way they should be doing it. And most of the time, everybody passes. Every now and then we'll have a bad night. And we had one last year or whatever where we had 6 or 7 fail. I forget the exact number. And so they all got to come down and have a conversation with me, and they all, at the end of the day, agreed to pay their fine and not to go to a hearing about it, that they were willing to sign off that they had committed the problem. And so, as I think everybody in the council is familiar, when somebody is fined in a violation of a liquor ordinance in this town, the money is set aside into a special fund that's held in the city treasury, and then at the direction of the Batavia Police Department, I release that money for activities which are in support of drug and alcohol abuse education. And one of the things we've done in the last few years is we've given a donation of some of it to the Batavia High School post-prom party. On the night of the prom, there's a big party, and we help fund some of that with this money. So I think at the end of the day, it's money being well spent, and everybody, I think, is getting a benefit from it. But I will be the first one to tell those folks, if we go ahead with this, that they want to do this, that they better be prepared to be checking IDs with great regularity and supreme caution, because if they don't, they will be fined and they will be hauled down here, and it'll be publicized and everything else as to who's doing what. So that's the type of publicity nobody wants. So I just wanted to get that out to everybody. Tomorrow night, I'm supposed to do an Eagle Scout ceremony at 7 o'clock. And so I'm hoping that I'll be down here by 7:30, but you don't have a lot on the agenda, so I thought I'd better get it off my chest before tomorrow night in case I get held up at the Eagle Scout ceremony for a few minutes. Sometimes I get in and get out of those relatively quick. Other times it can be, 45 minutes to an hour before I get out of them, depending on what's going on in the program and whatever. So I just wanted to share that with you while Alderman McFadden had made the report on behalf of the administrator. Okay, anybody else? Going then to item number 14, committee reports. Community Development, Alderman Brown.
Thank you, Your Honor. The Committee of the Whole is meeting tomorrow evening, as you just mentioned, at 7:30 p.m. Nothing for the Community Development Committee on that agenda. The Plan Commission for March 23rd has been canceled. The Historic Preservation is scheduled to meet March 28th at 5:30. The Committee of the Whole meeting scheduled for March 29th has been canceled. And the next Committee of the Whole meeting will be, as mentioned earlier this evening, April 5th. That's the Plan Commission, that the Shell and the Dunkin' Donuts is going to have their design review discussion on April 6th at 7:30. On April 5th, the Community Development Committee will meet along with the Committee of the Whole. And what we have on our agenda is the city detention area rezonings. There's going to be some possible rezoning to parks and open space from residential. And then there's been quite a lot of discussion lately about this proposed conditional use for a massage facility at 11 East Wilson Street. That will be on the agenda. We also have zoning ordinance amendments. Staff has been working very hard. They've been taking all these times that we do variances and taking a good close look at the zoning code and looking at what it is that when businesses come in and they want to do something, it might be a small business, it might be a large business, it might be commercial, it might be residential, but they've been looking at the zoning code and saying, some of these issues that we've got in here with the zoning codes are just really a nuisance and a hindrance, and if they're enforced, they really don't really accomplish anything at the end of the day, but they're maybe something we ought to be taking a look at in order to help these businesses move the process through at a quicker pace. So that will be on the agenda. And then also Tree Town, which is, or T-Town, not Tree Town, T-Tree at 29 North River Street. It's a downtown improvement grant request. And there may be a closed session on that meeting also. That's all I have. And that meeting again is April 5th at 7:30. That's all I have.
Government Services, Alderman McFadden. You have anything?
All right. As noted before, Government Services tomorrow night's Committee of the Whole meeting will be the discussion of liquor license changes to potentially allow the sale at gas station convenience stores.
And let me just piggyback on what both of you just reported. I've had some time in the last couple of days to talk with the police department and the chief at some length about the whole massage parlor situation, because I've had some people express some concern to me, and I was at a meeting last Monday in Chicago with a number of other mayors in the region and had the opportunity to talk to some of them who've had similar consternation or concerns in their community. And so I think that the chief and the police administration is prepared to come to the meeting on the 11th, I guess it is. Is that the date? The 5th?
That is on the 5th.
5th, okay. They're coming to that meeting and with some suggestions of some new regulatory language that they would like to have us consider relative to that. And I would encourage you careful review of that, because I think that we really want to send a very solid and powerful message to people in that industry that, massages are wonderful and this is what, we don't have any problem with that. But if you think you're going to try to expand this and go in some different direction, be ready, because we're going to be watching that with great interest and may have some further regulatory language that protects us from some of those activities taking place. Okay, city services, Alderman Wolf.
Thank you, Your Honor. We have just the mosquito abatement agreement on tomorrow night's committee of the whole meeting. Other than that, nothing else until April.
Okay, public utilities, Alderman O'Brien.
Thank you, Your Honor. We have nothing to discuss throughout the month of April so far, so nothing on the horizon.
All right. We have other business from the council? Anybody? All right, going to 16, the mayor's report. I've got just a couple things. First of all, as most of you probably will remember, when we approved the contract with Mr. Balling for the new city administrator search, the deadline for applications under his proposal was today. And so I had the opportunity, I've been talking with him off and on the last couple of weeks, and I had the opportunity to talk directly with him in the early afternoon. And he told me that he was very pleased with what we have received. He had in his hand 38 applications for city administrator, and he thought before the end of the day was out that he knew of several others that were cogitating or were preparing documents and thinking they were going to get something to him by the end of today. So he thought maybe the number could end up near 40, if not 40 or above. But he had 38 in hand as of about 1:30 this afternoon. And he seemed to think that he was very pleased by what he was seeing as far as applicants. So he asked me about that he had committed to you that as part of this process, very early on, he would be returning to you with some ideas and as to what he was doing. He's obviously, first thing he wants to do is review each of the applications, and he and Adrian are both going to review them and then consult with each other. And then he wants to come to one of our council of the whole meetings as quickly as we can. I told him that, he said obviously tomorrow night's too soon because he probably would just be getting everything finalized as far as who had applied. Next week we are not having the meeting, which was the decision last week. So he asked me to put on the agenda for the meeting on April 5th, an executive session either at the beginning or the end when he and Adrian will be out, and they will want to give the council a total update on the process, where we're going, how quickly he's seeing things come together, and that, he will be in a position to start to bring some candidates in to chat with us in the near term. But you're going to get a full update on the 5th, so if all of you can try to be at that meeting, that's part of what he's planning to do. So he says, quite honestly, he thought maybe next week would be a little bit too soon for him to go through them with the detail that he wants to go through, and that the 5th gives him more time to kind of look things over and get a better feel for it. So that's what we want to tell you about that. The other thing I want to share with you is that we have had some things happen in town here the last few months where we've had some folks meeting. One of them is we have a group of about 22 to 25 people who are now meeting every other Wednesday night to talk about a Flag Day celebration in Batavia on June 12th and June 14th. It will be a 2-day program. And it's been suggested to me, because we were talking about maybe trying to form a human flag and maybe doing some kind of a soapbox derby down the Houston Street Hill, and a luminary on the Riverwalk on the 14th and whatever, that it probably, and I'll put this in a memo to you, and I guess to do this rightfully, we need to have a discussion at committee about this, but we probably need to incorporate the Access Flag Day, or the Flag Day program as an access event in the community like we do with 4th of July, so that we can provide it with insurance and coverage and whatever. Then, also, in kind of another fun event, and correct me now if I get this date wrong, that on Sunday or Saturday, August 6th, Sunday, August 7th? Sunday, August 7th, we're going to have, what's the word we're calling this? The community dinner. Community dinner going all the way down River Street from Wilson to wherever it stops. Are we selling a limited number of tickets? I'm being asked this now I'm looking at Alderman Callahan because he's one of the ringleaders of this whole thing.
Initial planning is about 150 would be the amount for this year.
Okay. Anybody wants to come should buy their ticket quick, I have a feeling.
Yes, as soon as we make those arrangements.
Okay. So, but it's been suggested that that's another event that we probably should make as an access event, because we're closing a city street and we're doing a bunch of different stuff, and it's not under the direct sponsorship of either the Chamber or Main Street, as is, neither is the Flag Day. So I'm going to send out a memo in the next week or so to all of you, in which I'd ask that anybody has any concerns, that we be prepared to discuss it at the meeting on the 5th, and barring any major concerns anybody has, I'll entertain a motion, we'll entertain a motion on that night to recommend to the full council at their next meeting that the Flag Day celebration and the community dinner across the table, or whatever we're calling it, Farmers Table, be added as one-time access events in the community of Batavia for basically insurance purposes, if nothing else. So, fun stuff. I'm excited about some of that. That's going to be some memorable stuff. I've had some people call that have just heard about the access event, and apparently Dr. Segrand has some ancestors in the area who may be wanting to come and participate with us on those days. So that's just new today, so we're kind of excited about that. So things are looking up on that whole story. So we got some exciting things happening this summer in downtown Batavia, and I think our L-shaped community space, starting at River and going up the State and then coming across and going up to Batavia Avenue on Houston, is going to get a lot of use this year. So with all the things we seemingly got planned, and both the Chamber and Main Street seem to have a number of nice events kind of in their backgrounds too. The police are telling me we've got seemingly a record number of running races that want to stage off here at some time, either on a Saturday or a Sunday morning. And so we got that going. And then I guess the car show on, I guess it's Labor Day weekend, is going to be returning for what they think will be a bigger one than we had last year. So maybe on both streets. So a lot of stuff happening. All right, well, that's all I have to talk about. I guess if nothing else, I'll entertain a motion for adjournment.
I move we adjourn the city council meeting.
Second.
Moved by Alderman Brown, second by Alderman O'Brien for adjournment. Clerk, take a voice vote.
All those in favor?
Aye.